The tribunal investigating Supreme Court Justice Jackton Ojwang has criticized the Judicial Service Commission for violating his rights, and not only that, but for breaking the law during the initial stages of investigations into the corruption claims against him.
In what is now a serious indictment of the JSC and how it handles petitions against judges, the tribunal says the JSC had no basis to advise the president to constitute a tribunal that could have resulted in his removal from office. Ken Mijungu outlines why Justice Ojwang is in the clear.
Perhaps the only time in the last 5 months Justice Ojwang wore a wide smile and embraced freely, having been unshackled from the corruption claims pulling at him, and that threatened what has been an illustrious career. He's now in the clear and can resume office as one of the 7 judges of the Apex Court. While this was the end of his troubles, it's just the beginning of the Judicial Service Commission's problems. The Judicial Service Commission is taking the hit for what the tribunal says was a waste of time and taxpayers' money.
That there was insufficient basis for asking the president to form a tribunal to inquire into the conduct of the judge.
The tribunal, chaired by Court of Appeal Judge Al-Nasir Visram, took issue with Justice Ojwang's treatment. In their eyes, he was not afforded a fair hearing. The tribunal also found merit in his concerns about being treated unfairly, stemming from the constitution of the commissioners, who will sit and listen to his side of the story. 3 of the commissioners are said to have exhibited hostility when they interviewed him for the position of the Chief Justice. Justice Ojwang testified that the Judicial Service Commission subcommittee looking into claims against him did not and could not dispense justice.
We would think the JSC's decision of declining to reopen the case was not made in good faith. JSC, as a result, denied the judge his basic procedural rights to comment or have his rightfully appointed advocate on record comment on the adverse representations made against him.
But that's not the only fault the tribunal found with the judge's employer. The case was taken up 3 years after the complainant filed it, and even then, there were several concerns. The JSC did not, for instance, even visit the road that was at the center of the corruption claims made against the judge. The tribunal says the JSC, which should be the protector of the rule of law, failed to give the judge a hearing and took decisions that compromised the attendance during their investigations.
Failing to afford the judge his right to counsel to appear on his behalf, and further failing to consider any other appropriate alternatives, the JSC failed to meet the principle of proportionality.
In the end, the tribunal's decision was made.
We unanimously recommend, therefore, that the Honorable Mr. Justice Professor Jackton B. Ojwang ought not to be removed from office. Consequently, we also recommend that the current suspension of the Honorable Mr. Justice Professor Jackton B. Ojwang from exercising the function of his office be lifted with immediate effect.
The Judicial Service Commission is now considering a petition against Deputy Chief Justice by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. Ken Mijungu, NTV.